And it's Cigar Saturday with Matty Rock, and I'm Tom Fischer. We're very proud and happy to welcome to our show tonight radio personality Opie. How's it going, Opie?
Radio personality, huh, Tom? Wow, thank you for that. I haven't been on the radio in, 3.5 years, my friend.
Podcast personality.
Podcast. I say on my podcast, it's all broadcasting. Whether you're on satellite radio, a CB radio, podcasting, regular radio, it's all just broadcasting. Well, I don't even know. I don't even know why I'm on this show. I don't smoke cigars like Matty Rock, and I don't drink bourbon there, Tom.
I may be able to introduce you to some, and of course, I kind of think as a podcast as radio. I mean, it's the new radio, but
yeah,
it's great to have you. We enjoy your podcast a lot. You said how many years has it been since you've been on the radio?
3.5 years. I got the boot from Sirius XM 3 years this past July.
Right on.
4th of July weekend's a perfect time to fire somebody. Although in the end they didn't fire me, but whatever.
Well, it's great to have you. And now you said you might try to sip on some kind of whiskey or some kind of spirit, maybe?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I didn't get the memo that we were supposed to, wear bow ties, the pink bow tie on you. You could pull that off, Tom. I don't think I could pull off a bow tie to begin with, and I don't think I could pull off anything that's pink on my body. So congratulations on that. And I also noticed right before you went live, you put your sunglasses on. I mean, I would have done sunglasses in the middle of the night here at the beach.
I'm just if you got some close by, certainly you're welcome to get them. Do you have any close by? No sunglasses close by.
It's all good, and you might hear the ocean in the back. I'm at the ocean.
You're at the ocean. Well, you definitely. I don't have an ocean behind me, so I always like having an ocean, but I'm on the border of Indiana, Kentucky. Matty is in New Jersey, and Lamb Chop is joining us from is it Long Island? Is that where you are?
Way out east on Long Island. My goal, I talk about this on the podcast, my goal is to get the last house on Long Island so I could see everybody coming.
So it is like the last house you have?
No, I'm working towards that.
Oh, you're working towards it. Okay.
This is my third beach house, and every time I get another one, I move further out. And my goal, I got to look it up. I got to go to Google Maps or something, or Zillow. I got to see who has the last house, pretty much in Montauk, and then I'm going to take that house.
I got your move set up for you, and I'm surprised you haven't done this already. You're going to buy the Montauk Lighthouse, bro.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, man, I would live at the top of a lighthouse too. Montauk, it's a little small, it's a little cramped, but you can see people coming, and that's all I care about there, Tom.
You're welcome. That's
great stuff. Well, I want to tell everybody, if you do have any questions for Opie, please tweet them back, ask them down below on YouTube, on Facebook. And we're going to have a lot of fun with this. Hopefully, we'll have some great questions and just a lot of fun. Retweet this, share this everywhere. Tell us down below what you're drinking. You know the drill. A lot of these folks come back and join us every week. And I'm going to go and tell you what I'm drinking. In Opie's honor, I'm having a New York bourbon. It's from Brooklyn. It is called Kings County. It's one of my favorite bourbons made outside of Kentucky. Amazing craft distillery. They just turned 10 years old this summer. And great New York bourbon. I'm a big fan of New York bourbons, and I'm having the acid limited edition Cuba, right, Matty?
You got the Cuba Arte. The Cuba Arte.
Cuba Arte, that's what it's called. Cuba Arte.
Okay. Can I ask you something, Tom? Why are you a big fan of New York bourbons? I want to learn something today.
Sure.
What makes New York bourbons so special to you?
Well, I like the flavor of a lot of the grains that are used. So I think the grain in New York has really some interesting earthy qualities. I mean, this one in particular uses 80% New York corn. 20% of it is actually malt grain from the United Kingdom. But I think there's something about the terroir, the water in New York, the way it all comes together with the different seasons, how it ages in the barrel. There's some other really good ones too, but it just seems like a lot of the bourbons I've had from New York I thought have done really nice with the flavor complexities, with the grains and the water they're using.
All right, right on.
Yeah, good question. I appreciate it.
Oh, well, I got 3 bottles of bourbon here. So I want to ask your expertise on each bottle, if that's okay.
Yeah, please. I'd love to hear it.
All right. So my friend Matt Farrer from the Smoking Tire, I did a podcast with him and his friend. Oh my God, I think his first name was David, and he's a big bourbon guy as well. And he sent me 4 bottles. I gave 1 bottle to my neighbor, and what I got left is this nice little Weller.
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of a tougher one to find sometimes. Any of the Wellers are tough to find these days. But that's a really good wheated bourbon. The Weller collection from Buffalo Trace is splendid. So that's a great pick. Really.
What makes it so good?
Well, good question. The extra,
of course it is.
And of course it is. Yes, the wheated. I like this. I like it's a fellow radio personality that is a podcast personality that asked the question. The wheated element from Buffalo Trace gives it a softer element. And the collection of Wellers really got a lot popular a few years ago because a lot of those same bourbons are aged in the same warehouse that Pappy Van Winkle is aged in and have similar quality. So I think that's what really got the buzz going. But the Weller 12, the Special Reserve, which you have, they're all really nice bourbons. And they're harder to find right now.
All right. And I got another Weller. Oh my God. Okay. Huh?
The Antique 107, a little higher proof, a little bolder. Really like the Antique 107 too. That's a really good one.
All right, and then finally, what else do I? Here we go.
Yeah, the barrel bourbon selections, the barrel bourbons, those single barrels. What is it? Which selection is it? I know there's a variety of barrels. What does it say on the front there?
Can you read that?
Is it the censored barrel?
I guess.
The censored barrel, that's at cask strength. So what the barrel bourbons are, they are always something different. A lot of times aged different places. They do one that's finished in rum barrels. They're all really nice. I don't think I've tried the censored barrel, but I think it's called the censored barrel. Maybe there's a, is there any, was there somebody who gave it to you that was you said it was a friend of yours or?
Yeah, it's a friend of Matt Farrer's who really knows his bourbon too. I guess he gave me a nice variety.
It's a high proof one, so I'm sure you'll like that one. I've not tried that particular version of the barrel, but those are all really good bourbons.
So which one should I open?
Well, I would open them all, and we'll do a little. Are you just wanting to open one of them?
Well, I want to start with one, and then we'll see where this goes.
Okay. Well, why don't you try the censored one, the last one you showed me, because I'd love to hear what you think of it, because I've not tried that one.
All right.
And it's high proof. A little high proof always leads to some good conversation. The higher proof the whiskey, the more I think the deeper the thought goes, because it's just that little extra. Yes, rock star. I like it. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Sorry.
Now you know what doesn't have neighbors. Well played, sir.
Well, they're all wow, you know what? That's really damn good, bro. I like that.
Good.
God damn, I like that bourbon right there. Cheers.
I like
God damn. Yeah, there. Let's get all right.
What are you now? Obviously, there is no right or wrong answer, but are you getting any particular flavors off of that next to other bourbons you've had?
Oh, sure I am. I could taste. I don't know what all the notes are. It tastes like a damn good bourbon, that's for sure.
Nice barrel, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. What am I trying to taste here, Tom? Like, see, I told you that I don't really want it. Like, teach me today. Should I smell it?
So what I like to just put it right up there to the nose, rock the glass back and forth, just get it in both of those nostrils, just to really get that aroma in there.
I like that. I like to smell that.
And what kind of typical notes we're getting off of a bourbon usually are sweeter notes, vanillas, caramels. Those are some bigger ones. Barrel. You may even get some nice earth, kind of sweet earth notes.
I taste car crash.
Really?
Yeah,
that would be what I had not tried myself. But
no, I do have to explain. So when I was a kid, we lived on a very busy road. And the middle of the night, a drunk driver who was coming back from the hospital to visit his drunk driving friend who was in an accident earlier that night. So he went to the hospital to check on him, and he was really drunk still, and he was driving home. He hit a guardrail about 100, 200 yards across the street from my my house I grew up in. And he hit our house going about 70 or 80 miles an hour. And he took out the whole side of our house, and that was where my dad's bar was. So for the whole summer, I smelled bourbon.
Wow.
Thus then, car crash.
Wow. So that was that's what really brought back that. How old were you when that happened? You said you were a kid?
I was about 12, and I thought we would have to move because we couldn't open the front door. You hit the house so hard.
Right.
And then the guy, we all jumped up. It was in the middle of the night. And he's just staggering around our backyard, and his car was completely destroyed in a million pieces. We found pieces of that car for years to come after that.
Wow. That's
yeah.
Awesome.
So cheers. So cheers on that. Cheers. Cheers on that. Everyone, all right.
Everyone, be safe. If you drink, that's all right. Important. But you know, the thing with memories and smells and tastes, I mean, memory is so linked to flavors, to what we knows, and it's always interesting whenever we do these tastings to say what is the first thing you get, and often we can really take that first thing and really travel back in time to figure out.
Man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I can't drink blackberry brandy to this day. That was the first alcohol I drank when I was a kid, and I drank too much and I puked. And to this day, if I smell blackberry brandy, I'm out.
Wow.
I'm out,
so
Tom.
That's one you're not going to try. Yeah.
No, but car crash. Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, by the way, just to make it fun for everybody, fast forward about, 30 years. My dad died in front of my house, the same house, in a car crash. Cheers. That's a true story, Tom.
Wow.
You can laugh at that. You can laugh. I'm over it. I'm over it. It's okay.
Right.
All right. I didn't mean to shock you like that. That's a true story, by the way. We lost a lot. I forgot, but we lost at least 3 dogs, at least 1 or 2 cats, and my dad in front of the house I grew up in. So cheers. Cheers.
All right. Matty has this bubbly water. I mean, what does that remind you of there, Matty?
Look, I'm just being all bougie today, or I'm pretending to be bougie. Yeah. I'm like, this is where you sound like Pacall, or at very least, James Bond. But it's mostly because I was really fat today and ate a lot of shit, so I decided I needed nice. Water, and there was Aquapon in the fridge, though.
All right,
that's it.
That's a really good
one. Not a great mix to go. It's a nice clean water to go with cigars. You and I had spoken about before, which we got to send you to smoke. It's from the Natural family, which is now called La Routon because of the FDA. Right. Wink, wink.
Okay.
Natural backwards, but pipe tobaccos from all over the United States, Louisiana parishes, pretty cool stuff. So aromatic, clean, nice. Tasting, naturally sweet, and
yeah, they're really nice. Now, do you do cigars then, Opie, or no?
I was in Turks and Caicos at Club Med, and they would put a card table out at night with all the Cuban cigars. So I was smoking a Cuban cigar every night when I was on vacation. I don't know what I was smoking. I'm not gonna lie to you. I couldn't tell the difference. And then like when I was a kid and we thought we were cool and we were playing cards in my friend's basement, we would smoke the Tiparillos, what were they called? The White Owls?
Oh yeah, baby.
Remember those? Yep.
Where you could get out of deli. I forgot the name of them, and they had like cherry flavor. Matty, do you remember this?
Oh yeah, of course, man.
All right.
White grape, yeah. Back in those days, y'all thought that was one of the first things that everyone smoked out, or some Swisher Sweets. Everyone's like,
okay,
right, the Swishers are those, yeah.
Can I ask you something about cigars, guys?
Go ahead.
So I was watching actually Bert Kreischer's show on Netflix, The Cabin, and they were smoking cigars. And the one guy said he was getting a nice buzz off the cigar. Can you explain that? Can you actually get a buzz smoking a cigar? And what's that all about if it's not like marijuana or anything else?
Oh, absolutely, man. So the fuller body of the cigar, so you're going to hear the term called Ligero. And Ligero is the strongest leaf in a cigar. So when you have a really, really strong cigar and it has a lot of Ligero in it, and especially if you're not used to smoking cigars. So we had one on, we were talking about a couple weeks ago, called the Feral Pig, which is a
Right.
by Drew Estate. Now, if
Yeah.
you don't have like steak and potatoes before you eat that cigar and you don't smoke a lot, you'll be on your ass.
Okay.
I've had a couple situations over the years where people are like, dude, how come you never give me Cuban cigars? And it's always the guy who's never smoked a cigar in his life. So finally he pushed us stuff. He didn't eat, he'd had nothing to drink, and we gave him a Cuban cigar, and the fucker could not get off the couch. He's just like,
Wow.
oh, this is the best thing. Hey, I can't move anymore. I'm like, no, you want? Oh, you want another one, Nick? He's like, no, really, I can't feel my legs. I'm like, good for you, you bastard. But yeah, so the stronger the cigar, the more full body it is. It'll definitely give you a buzz or put you on your ass. So people who don't smoke cigars regularly, we try to give them something mild. You'll hear, mild, medium, full. Connecticut wrappers. It depends on the binders, but anything that's really heavy or deep will definitely give you a buzz. And if it's really, really strong, you're not going to move.
Okay. There's the answer.
No self-send Opie, Fox, a Feral Pig. Don't answer that.
And I think that it's also based on, like, what you've just had. As Matty was saying, how much have you had to eat, or what are you drinking with it? I mean, all these things are always can be situational too.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, part of it too.
All right.
Yeah. And the same is true with whiskey. I mean, of course, that it does happen with whiskey. And now again, the proof on that bottle you're trying is what again, Opie? The bottle that you just poured out of. Do you see the proof on there?
I can't see. God damn it! It's very dark here. I mean, I see the light. I'm lit up pretty good, but the reality is
it looks like it's about 104.5, 52%. So that's most of the ones that Barrel does are single barrels. So all of the bourbon comes from one barrel, and that's what single barrel means. And they're all usually at barrel proof. So barrel proof meaning it has not been proofed down with water to get it to a lower proof. So that's some pretty strong bourbon you're having, but I'm sure it's pretty tasty stuff.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah, it's good, but it's definitely
really
warming. Definitely very, as we say for the fall time, it's very autumnal. Usually bourbon has a very autumnal note. It has a lot of those apples, that baking spices. These are just a lot of the typical notes we get.
Nice.
Yeah. So Opie's having some Kentucky bourbon. I'm right on the border of Indiana and Kentucky. I'm having some New York bourbon. Bourbon can be made in any state, and every state is making a bourbon too.
Wow.
You got bourbon in every state. It has to be made in the U.S. to be called a bourbon.
I did not know that. Now I noticed the radio voice there, Tom. You got a better radio voice than me, sir. You were in the business, obviously. Well, that's why I had to turn into an asshole, because I didn't have the voice like yours, Tom.
Right. So if without the voice, you just have to become an asshole, and then you get radio show. Is that right?
100%, and then you get beach houses all over the place, and and never have to work again. So it's been a good ride. But when I first started, you had to have the voice like you did with the golden pipes, and I would practice that, and I didn't get it. So I had to just be a jerk.
So all I have to do now is I just have to become an asshole with my voice, and then no telling's what'll happen, right?
You would crush it.
Okay, I'm gonna work on this. Just
my life sucks, and I don't have the voice, but I'm an asshole. It's got to be absolutely.
We're all working on this.
Asshole. I'm very well skilled. Maybe I should stop talking like this. Hello, I could be password to it and be just as good as anybody else. Hello. Aquaponic gentlemen, I'd be more than happy to pour for you.
Go ahead, Tom.
Your start in radio. What was your start in radio then?
What was my start? CQ 102 Hit Music and More, out of Geneva, New York. Nice. Oh my God, I'm slurring, and I usually stammer without alcohol, so this is gonna be a problem, Tom. I went to Geneseo SUNY School. And when I got out, I got a part-time job at CQ 102 Hit Music and More in Geneva, New York. And I would, honestly, I mean, it used to be a sport back then, but I would my shifts were on Friday and Saturday nights. I was still living at the college, so I mean that wasn't going to stop me from having a good time. So I would pretty much go to happy hour and drink until about 9, 10 o'clock at night. Get in a car and drive the 40 minutes to Geneva, New York to do my air shift when I first started in radio. And then I was so bored because it was a music station that I started experimenting, and I would put songs on, and then I would run in my car and try to get to the McDonald's drive-through, get my order, and come back before the song ended, Tom.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You had to find those long ones, though, you know?
That's right.
So we played everything from Anita Baker to Led Zeppelin. They were all over the place with their radio because they were trying to service the entire area, if you understand.
Right.
Yeah. So
got to find those long. I remember how that used to be when I did college radio. Some of the college radio I did on a jazz shift at WUEV, which is no longer around. It's in my hometown of Evansville, Indiana. And but I would put on long songs too, just to go out and get whatever I needed to get. So I understand how that that would be. Did you ever teach your friends how to run a radio station board so you could go in the parking lot and get blowjobs? Really, I would probably just find a long song in that case.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was just asking, because that was something that was possible because you realize how easy radio actually is.
Yeah,
especially when
that's a good question too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it make me bad that Immigrant Song from Led Zeppelin was just enough time for me? Does that make me a bad person? Because I believe that was like a 9-second song.
The great thing is, as someone sitting close by to me just reminded me that, radio, the good thing about what you were asking is there are no visuals with radio. So no one really knows what's happening behind the microphone or under the microphone, for that matter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
That's the good part.
Yeah.
That's the really good part. That's always the beauty of it. Nowadays, with regard to what we were talking about podcasting, have you seen? And I've seen a real growth in podcasts during the pandemic as far as people starting podcasts. What do you think this era, the last 7 months, has done to podcasting and radio for that matter?
Oh, Tom, I fucking hate it. Every person has a podcast.
Yeah.
Every single person. Like, when I was coming up in radio, there was only a handful of us that could do this. And now everyone thinks, oh, I could do this. And then every time you turn on the goddamn TV, someone's on there going, and don't forget to check out my new podcast. There's hundreds of thousands of podcasts out there. We're competing with I'm competing with my neighbor. I think they have a podcast now. So I'm kind of triggered. I don't like that everyone thinks they could do what we do, Tom.
I know.
No offense, Matty.
Yeah, no, there's been a huge growth. There's been a real growth.
Cheers. Cheers.
Yeah, it's another cheers.
Yeah.
See what I told you about proof? High proof bourbons. This works.
It's my tongue's pretty much numb there, Tom. So thanks for that. But no, I mean, obviously it's a good thing, but I just hate that there's so many choices out there now.
Right.
And, most of them suck. And it's going to take the masses to realize, oh, wow, yeah, most of the podcasts that I download suck. And then eventually maybe it'll get back to a normal amount of podcasts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, at some point, I think people they start down and hopefully those that are good and those that really love it will keep doing it no matter how many listeners they have. But it takes commitment. It takes consistency. You do yours, what is it, a couple times a week, 2 or 3 times a week?
At this point, I'm doing 3 episodes a week. I'm kind of turning it into a radio show. I finally realized, like, this is stupid. Wait once a week to. Oh, no offense. How many episodes do you do, Tom?
Amazingly, well, with this particular show, with what Matty and I do, we do this once a week on Saturdays. But I was doing 5 or 6 nights a week interviewing distillers, bourbon people.
Oh, beautiful. All right.
And then uploading that on the audio, Spotify, and everywhere else. So
okay, so I didn't. Sorry, because I didn't want to insult you.
No, it's okay.
Already, I could tell that you know what you're doing. But when I first started, I'm like, once a week. That's I could do that in my sleep because when you did a radio show, a talk show,
right?
We were doing. Honestly, the commercials were in there, but we were doing 20 hours of content a week. So to do a 1-hour podcast a week to me is a joke. So I started just adding episodes, and now I just throw them out there. You know, if I have a good recording, I'll throw it out right away instead of waiting a week to put it out there. So I'm slowly turning my podcast feed into a mini radio show.
And just doing more and more of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's good to know. And again, for those of you just joining us, it is podcast, radio, and broadcast personality Opie who's joining us live. And if you have any questions,
can you do that again? But just add the word legend.
Legend as Opie. Broadcast personality, podcaster, and radio personality, and legend as well.
Just put legend in there somewhere.
It says lamb chop.
legendary lamb chop. That's
I used to call Carl lamb chop, Carl Ruiz from the Food Network. You know, so that's an homage to my dear friend Carl.
Very nice.
That's how I met this guy, Matty Rock.
Matty. Okay, cool.
Through Carl. Yeah.
Oh wow, what a nice. That is a nice homage.
Yes.
So for tonight, you are Lamb Chop, and it is Bourbon Blog live. And if you have any questions for Opie, definitely ask them. I think we did see a question. Well, I think Shad was just asking why you continued to pursue a career in radio. You had your start. What kept you going with radio? I think is what he was asking.
What kept the simple love of doing it.
Right.
I've been doing it my entire life. I don't know how to do anything else there, Matt.
Right.
You're a damn good fisherman. I mean, I would invest in like a pirate fleet for Opie. I'm just saying.
I'm not. I mean, my fishing skills are you know. I've had a rough season.
Why don't you explain that item that you're holding right now, sir?
Yeah.
Well, it's a reel. So what happened was. I was podcasting with Jackie the Joke Man a couple days ago. Excuse me. Wow, this bourbon is kicking in, boys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yes. It melts the ice pretty well. So I was So when I'm not podcasting, I'm fishing more or less.
Right.
Especially this time of year, the striped bass are running. It's called the fall run. So I was fishing, and then I'm like, oh, that's right, I got to talk to Jackie the Joke Man from the old Howard Stern show. He's a friend of mine. So I put my rod. It was a rookie mistake, but you always move your rod up from the tide, from the shoreline, just a little bit. So you judge it like, high tide's in 2 or 3 hours. I think I can leave my rod right here in the holder. So I come up to the house. I do an hour and a half with Jackie the Joke Man, and the whole time I'm kind of looking out the window because if I see fish jumping, fuck Jackie the Joke Man. I run back and start fishing. The podcasting isn't that important there. So all of a sudden I'm done with the podcast, and I look out again, and my rod's gone. So I run down to the ocean, and everything's gone. My rod holder, and the bait. Oh wait, the bait was still floating in the surf. So I'm like, oh okay. And I searched for about a half hour or so. I couldn't find my rod. It was lost. 2 days later, I'm walking down the beach with my puppy. And wouldn't you know, about a quarter to half mile down the beach, I found my fishing rod.
And he found it.
So I couldn't believe it. So obviously someone I want to do more with you, man. I could feel that we could have some good chemistry.
We could do that. We could get a whole lot of bourbon and then.
Yeah, sure. So obviously someone found my rod in the surf, and they put it back up on the sand, and I come across it. I'm like, that's my rod. It was a mess, full of sand and seaweed, and the line was, twisted all over the place. I brought it back here, and I really wanted to see if I could get it to work again. And anyone that fishes and you get some sand on the rod and in the reel and all that, they know what a nightmare it could be. So I took the whole goddamn thing apart. Here's another piece of it. And I cleaned everything. But sad to say, I think it's a goner there, Tom. I tried, though, for 2 hours. But I was just happy that I was able to find the rod because I thought it was, the ocean took it. So that brings up a story if you'd like to hear it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Okay, so I have a friend close by, and I was fishing with my father-in-law on this fishing trip, and he goes walking down the beach, and we're fishing, we're catching nothing. This guy comes back with a 40-inch striped bass and a fishing rod. Now you got to understand, a 40-inch striped bass off the beach. It's called surf casting. That's an accomplishment. And he also got a fishing rod. And guess what? When he started walking down the beach, he had neither, Tom. So how the story goes is he saw the fishing rod washed up onto shore, and attached to it was a 40-inch striped bass.
Actually on it.
God, I hope there's a delay. Yeah. So what happened was, obviously what happened to me, you know, the prior story, this guy lost his fishing rod with the bait and everything on it. A fish comes along and bites the hook. Little does he know that no one's on the other side of the rod, because that's in the ocean too. And the whole thing washed up on shore. This guy carries it back to his house. It was missing an eyeball and it was discolored. He goes, I don't care. I'm going to eat it anyway. And I don't know how long it was dead for, but the guy gobbled it up like it was fresh catch.
I'm assuming if you haven't seen him eat, it was probably since that time. Hey, he probably didn't do very well. It wasn't fresh.
Yeah. Oh my God. So
wait, Opie, the rest of Opie's rod's going to come up on shore, except it's going to be a one-eyed homeless guy that came via the hut. just fucking terrible. Opie, shit! This isn't how the story
happened.
I put the rod in the back. I put the rod in the background just to give us some ambiance tonight. So the actual rod without this is in the background. All right.
So if we hear a homeless guy with one eye screaming in the background, it's most likely because of Opie.
Yeah, exactly.
I was sleeping off a bender. And
I gotta show you that. I gotta show you this too.
All right.
What? Oh my!
I think my pumpkin shit. It's literally is the. Of course, we get the only pumpkin from the supermarket that is rotting. We just got this.
Yeah, there wasn't really a QC check done by the Opie household, was there?
No. What are you gonna do? You know.
What Opie didn't tell you is there were actually 4 bottles of bourbon. One was consumed before they went shopping for that pumpkin.
There you go.
What the fucking pints of pumpkin? Fine. It's orange. Fucking put it in there. Oh yeah. There were definitely 4. There were definitely 4 bottles when you look at that pumpkin. No doubt.
You gotta pick your pumpkin earlier next time. That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have a pumpkin there, Matty?
Cheers.
Have you done any pumpkin?
I do not. I am the only vegetable currently at the house. No pumpkin. I'll be assuming that.
Why no pumpkin?
I'm just horrible, man. I don't even have the. See, you had the patience to at least have a bottle of bourbon and get a dilapidated, sad pumpkin that nobody else loved. I didn't even do that. It makes me worse.
Yeah, I mean, our intentions were to get a nice fresh pumpkin, but I don't know. I don't know what happened. The yes of this one got blown out, man.
For rotted pumpkins, you did an excellent job. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You got to change up the story. Right. He wanted the pumpkin that no one else wanted to make it feel good, because this is 2020. You know what?
There you go.
We had to pander a little bit, like, pumpkin looks beautiful the way it is. He made his kids cry and everything else because he doesn't get, but no. Perfect.
Yeah.
Just the way you.
Matty, I was watching earlier your story about someone who sat close to you was at the park today? Was it that happened today?
It was, and you saw the video. So there was nobody probably 200 yards in any one direction. So this person felt that they had to come invade my space, and I had one locked in the chamber. So I used chemical warfare, and they gave me an
beautiful.
So, dude. When you're done, go look at the tweet. There was literally nobody around for 200 yards, any direction, sitting by the river. I was fine. Person decided to come a line straight to my bench. I was having none of it. I happened to have one in the chamber, and it was nice, much like this crispy fall day. It was nice, crispy, loud. So they got where I was coming from. They gave me a horrified look and walked away. So my question was, I felt it was entirely a justifiable move. I mean, you invaded my space. So,
was he pissed off?
It was a she, and she was horrified.
Well, if it's a she, and she goes, "Why'd you just fart?" You go, "I didn't fart. I'm trying to blow you a kiss."
Oh, judges,
I'm
are we going to allow
put that on a T-shirt? Yeah.
Judges, they're
Just
giving it to the amount of bourbon that we're thinking is consumed. Now, hold on, I'm getting this. We're thinking there were 5 bottles. There were 5. But wait, there's one thing Tommy's not being honest about, and I hope Tim, Mr. Sabian, I hope you're listening out there.
Yeah.
I hope you're tuning in. So, Opie said he didn't know much about cigars. He knew enough that immediately after Mr. Tim Sabian gave him some Cuban cigars, he knew immediately that they were fake and to call me. And
yes.
Tim is still crushed. He's like, Matty, I can't tell you how happy I am with these Cuban cigars. Literally, he's saying that. Opie's on the other side texting me, Matt, do these look real? Now, Tom, this one I'm not sure you had to be an expert, but it looked like a 6-year-old kid drew the Cohiba label and everything really else.
Oh, man.
And then he's like, but they're from Cuba. I'm like, you might have gotten them from some dude in Cuba, but my friend, these were not Cuban cigars.
You know, you're blowing up my spot because Tim Sabian does not know that I questioned his Cuban cigars until this very moment there, Matty Rock. I was podcasting and Tim Sabian hands me these cigars and I don't know. And he was bragging about how they were Cuban cigars. And I think he was trying to say he flew down personally to get them and all this. And I took a picture and quickly sent them to Matty Rock. Back in the day when I had the big radio show there, Tom, a lot of people, I went through a wine snob thing. Right. I don't like wine at all anymore. I used to go all in with wine for a few years there. And people knew that, and they were appreciative of the radio show, so they would bring me bottles of wine. And I would go on wine.com right in front of them to see how good the bottle was. And there were a lot of days I rejected the bottle right in front of them.
Hey, Tom, hand him the bow tie, please.
What's that? Oh, yeah, he does need that.
Thank you. Now I want him talking like God. Hello. Your wine is crap.
Some other questions coming in from David Mallow. What's up, Vince? Does Opie want to go back to radio, or do you prefer the podcast format? I know you kind of addressed it a little bit earlier, but do you?
I think I'm going to just continue podcasting for now. Radio is kind of a disaster, and I don't need the grind of it anymore. I know people have actual jobs and work their asses off for a living, but it could be a grind, and they don't really pay well anymore, and they don't let you say what you really want to say, which was so stupid on regular radio's part. You had all this competition coming up. You had satellite radio and podcasting in the early days where if you were podcasting or if you were on satellite radio, you could say whatever you want, and regular radio was tightening the screws on all these personalities. So they were like, screw this. I'm going to go off to satellite radio, or I'm going to start doing my podcast so I can speak freely. Right. So it would be really tough to go back in that world. I had a few opportunities, and I said no to all of them.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, but at some point when there was competition, if there wouldn't have been the rules when Sirius was coming up, that would have been definitely beneficial, right? As you said.
Of course. They didn't take all that competition seriously. So regular radio died on the vine, and it allowed all these other places to really take off and grow.
Right. No, absolutely.
That's why Howard left, and we had no choice. We didn't have a job. I didn't want to go to satellite at the time. No one was fucking buying that shit. Right. Well, but Howard, he knew. He's like, I can't say half the stuff I was able to say, and he said, screw you. And those guys were making stupid money, and they had to let him go so he could, say whatever the hell he wanted, just like we did.
Yeah. Do you for the future of it all? Do you see that eventually, as more and more traditional radio dies off, or changes, that there will be less rules as far as what can be said? It's all
going to this.
Right.
What we're doing right now, this is where it's all heading. That's why it's kind of silly to answer that question. Are you going to go back to radio? Because I'd rather be where I'm at, podcasting, and grow with the whole thing. Right. You make your own schedule. If you don't feel like working and you want to fish, you go fish. If you want to drink bourbon, you want to put on a pink bow tie, you can do whatever the hell you want. Right. By the way, I'm not really making fun of the pink bow tie. I'm more amazed that you could pull that off.
Thank you.
That's for real. How did that come about? Is it your thing to wear bow ties, or is it your thing to wear pink bow ties?
It's really just all bow ties, and I'm glad you like it. Part of it comes from the tradition of Kentucky Derby and the Derby.
Oh, there you go.
So years ago,
Right.
I started really enjoying it, and as I would go around the country pouring whiskey, educating about whiskey, it's what I'm usually doing, presentations on whiskey. I would just always wear a bow tie in honor of Kentucky and just that sort of southern aspect. Yeah.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The only bow tie I have is the one that spins around in a circle, and Tom frowns upon that. So keep that in itself.
I think the last time I wore a bow tie was when I got married. Right? You wear bow ties when you get married, I think, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I did too.
Easier.
But is that a clip-on?
This particular one, no. This is a special one that actually has kind of it's the material it's made of is sort of a sweater material.
All right. But you have to tie it yourself?
That's right. Yeah.
Wow. Cheers.
Cheers
on that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Now, Opie knows who this is. All right. Here's how this is going to go. First, Opie knows him as the shirt guy because that's what Carl called him. Gene, the shirt guy. Gene, I hope you're listening. So Tom needs a Gene, the shirt guy, bow tie. And now Opie needs a bow tie, period. So Gene, if you're listening, get your crap dinner ready, shirt guy.
I love Gene. He makes customized shirts, right, Matty? It's hard to hear you. I don't know. You're clipping on me, but I'm trying to hear you. But this guy makes customized shirts, and Carl introduced me to Gene as well. And Gene looked at me and saw how I dressed and was like, "Fuck, I ain't getting any money out of this guy." I don't know if I own a collared shirt at this point in my life. I honestly don't know. I know I don't have any out here. I've only worn bathing suits and sweatpants since March 13th. So
right.
And my favorite
collared shirt for a bow tie, but we could find another way to do it, I'm sure.
All right. I got to share this story too. I have sweatpants where my balls and my dick fall out, and I found out the hard way. So because I don't really wear underwear with the sweatpants, because we're all in quarantine. So why put the underwear on? And one day my wife's like, "Holy shit, I could see your dick and balls," and I'm like, "Oh my god, if you could see my dick and balls in my sweatpants, that means pretty much the whole beach has been able to see my dick and balls for the last month or two." And none of them wanted to tell me that they could see my dick and balls, Tom. If you want,
maybe they weren't noticing that it could have been.
I could go get the sweatpants because I don't want you to think I'm making up bits for your podcast.
No, it definitely
I say is
it definitely happens.
The real thing.
After enough of wearing any sweatpants, I mean, especially during the pandemic, I can see why that would happen.
Yeah.
And
all right.
From the word association game, how did we get dick and balls from bow tie and word association game? Maybe I had some of the bourbon I didn't even know.
Matty, this is what you do. You just talk when you're radio guys like me and Tom.
That's
and then,
right.
Something just pops and then you go with it for a little while.
It's all part of being legendary, right?
And I'm babbling because I'm on a podcast about bourbon and I don't know anything about bourbon, so I gotta earn my worth somehow here, right?
No, you're doing great. You're doing great, and he may even get to another bottle to open up. It could happen.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm writing the notes in this bourbon, dick and balls. I mean, this is
that's a true story. That's a true story.
Bouncing ball, Matty. Dick and balls, bourbon, pumpkin that shit itself. See, I am learning. I'm a good studier.
If you like, I could put the sweatpants on. I mean, if you need people to check out the podcast, we could tease that I'll put the sweatpants on.
You're not even wearing sweatpants right now. Is that what you're telling us?
I'm wearing what am I? Oh, I got them on.
Oh, he has them on.
I got them on. All right. Don't worry, because I got long johns on because it's a crisp fall night, so you're not going to actually see my dick and balls, but I'm going to prove to you that I don't bullshit with my stories.
Okay. This is the proof.
You see that?
This is true.
That would have been my dick and balls if I didn't have the long johns on.
There may have been a reason they did not spot it on the beach. Who knows? I mean, you weren't wearing your long johns on the beach, so.
No, but the big reveal was in early September when it was still warm out, and I'm just relaxed and leaning back on the beach, and my wife's like, "Oh my God, And it was a thing.
Did you call it the big reveal? Was that radio tongue in cheek? The big reveal.
Big reveal.
I got the big reveal. I got the big. I got the big.
All I need to do is have a little box open up with George Takei. Oh my!
Jesus.
Well, they used to sell the jeans, and I think they still do that are pre-distressed. So, do you think there is a market potentially for sweatpants or jeans that already have that hole in them? What do you think?
Well, it depends who you're hanging out with there, Tom.
It could.
Yeah, it could
work. There could be a market for this.
Sure, why not?
What would the line be called? That's the question. Would there be a name for this?
I think you just got to go with Dick and Balls.
It could be that simple.
DB. Yeah.
OPP.
Yeah.
There's so much going on in this, but I had no idea this would be entrepreneurial in nature. Writing all this shit down. I ain't too old to learn.
Now, somebody was asking the question a little bit earlier about if I think was there an episode with Carl where there was Pappy Van Winkle involved on one of the broadcasts?
Oh my God! So honestly, I wasn't a big bourbon drinker until I started hanging out with Carl, and not that I was a huge. I'm not really a huge drinker in general, but when you're with Carl, And right. So he turned me on to all sorts of bourbons, and I wish I could remember half the stuff that he turned me on to. But anyway, I went and podcasted with him, and he used to live in a place called the Creepy Cabin. Then he left there, and he was living with friends, let's just say. One of them being Mex, who's a great guy. And so I showed up where Carl was living, and he brings me into the kitchen. It's really early in the morning because he had stuff to do. I think he maybe had to fly to California for grocery games, whatever. Anyway, long story short, I thought we were just going to drink some coffee and do a quick podcast, and they broke out the bourbon.
Oh wow!
And I was doing baby shots in my coffee, Tom, and those two were animals. They got a full load on by 10 in the morning.
They had some really good stuff. They had some Pappy Van Winkle. Someone was remembering. They were pouring some really good bourbon, and you have some really good bourbon there in front of you. So you're surrounded by some great whiskeys, and hopefully you'll be learning about the flavors as I think you'll probably pick up another couple flavors besides the car crash before it's over.
I mean, am I tasting like the oak barrel there, Tom?
You're getting some of the barrel too. Yeah, I'm sure you're getting some of the barrel, some nice char.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I used to like in my wines. That taste.
Some nice, serious. Now, what were you into? Like some of the deeper reds, or what were your favorites?
I was into Cabernets. Silver Oak was one of my favorites. I'm trying to remember now. It's been so long. Oh my God. What were some of my other ones? Whatever. I would go to this wine store on Columbus Avenue in New York City, and I was putting down $100 to $200 a bottle for the big Cabernets. And I went into this wine store and I asked for, God, what was it? Let's just say it was Silver Oak, which is a decent Cabernet.
Right.
This lady looked at me like, you stupid, uneducated wine idiot. Come with me. That's what I read in her eyes. As she walked me upstairs, she shows me a whole rack of bottles. And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, but these bottles I said it out loud. I'm like, they're only $12. They're $16.99. $20 is the most expensive. She goes, exactly, and they taste just as good as that Silver Oak or whatever bottle I was looking for. And she explained to me it's all marketing, like anything else. And I was going to ask you about that with bourbon. So she said these wines are just as good, but no one knows about them, so they can't charge the $100 a bottle.
Right. So that's a really good question. I think that there's been some studies done that show that whenever with regard to wine, and I'm sure it's the same with whiskey, that when you are told that even for sommeliers, they had some wine sommeliers that were judging wines. When you're told that a wine is more expensive, you're going to almost always rate it higher. And not only will you rate it higher and think, oh, it's better, but you'll actually, the sensations for pleasure in your brain will be heightened when you're told it's more expensive. And experience will actually be truly elevated whenever you're given a story behind it that's interesting, or when you're told it's more expensive. So sometimes that is true. Now, we like to think that whiskeys, of course, that are aged longer, have more depth of flavor. That's often the case. there's less whiskey left in a barrel whenever it's aged longer, so you have less of the liquid. So sometimes price and quality are on par, sometimes not. But we always say, drink what you like what you drink. Just like with cigars, have it be something that you enjoy, and that's what matters. And of course, there are cheaper whiskeys or cheaper wines that people enjoy that I might enjoy, that are good. So that's all the case. Sometimes it can be marketing. You never know.
Right. There you
Everybody wants a story behind what they sell, and the story can help sell that. But the story can also help make it special as it is.
Yeah, I mean, Matt.
I said, hypothetically, does that also apply to hookers? Just asking.
Oh.
I just
want to know where the gray line. There's like a gray area though with marketing and the truth in products. You go to the supermarket, and from time to time I'll buy the store brand because I'm like, just because it's just stupid oatmeal, let's just say. And Quaker Oats is like $5-6, and the store brand is $2 or $3, and it's the exact same stuff. And so I wonder where that line is, where no, actually you are paying for quality over a name brand.
That's an excellent question. And I think it all boils down to your own personal experience. Sometimes blind tastings, whether it's wine or whiskey, if we taste things blind, even as individuals, maybe not even as a competition, but if we can taste things blindly and then know, then we aren't influenced. I think that's incredibly important. Another question we had was, obviously, I know you've had so many guests on your show over the years. Did you have a very favorite episode you did, or guest you interviewed or experienced that was what you didn't think it would be that happened?
Wow. God, that is the ultimate question, and it's so hard to answer because we were lucky enough to talk to just about everyone that came through in entertainment. Honestly, man, talking to Donald Trump on the phone was one of the highlights of my career. The guy was so entertaining, so funny, so full of himself, just a dick. But he gave you great radio. And then we would hang up with the guy, and we all would look at each other like, what a dick. But, oh, my God, was that entertaining. So I would put him on the list. I had George Carlin on. That was one where I was completely starstruck because George Carlin is everything to me. As far as comedians go. A lot of people like to pick either Richard Pryor or George Carlin. For me, it was always George Carlin. For a lot of comedians, especially, they would pick maybe it would be 50-50, but a lot of those guys would pick Richard Pryor. But having Carlin on the show was just insane. I'm trying to think of others. Unfortunately, by the way, have I started licking my hands yet?
Not that I've seen, no.
All right, so
no.
So it's a tell. My wife finally told me. She goes, when you get drunk, you start licking your hands. I don't know why. I feel like they're dry or something. So if I start licking my fingers, this is over. Okay. And then sometimes I'll start going like this, and then maybe I'll start, really digging. So please keep.
Yeah, make sure you use hand sanitizer first, or whiskey, right?
I think the whiskey could.
The whiskey might work.
The bourbon certainly could keep the coronavirus away. But I'll say this: the more famous the person, the more. A lot of times they were kind of dull because they were so protected. They were protected by their image, by publicists, their people around them. So a lot of times they wouldn't open up like other people. So.
Right. And then I found that to be true too. I mean, or they're so practiced with saying the same thing that they can't quite get outside of that realm of thinking of a new answer, right?
Yeah. 100%. Oh no, they don't want to reveal anything.
Right.
They want to promote their latest project, and it's usually pretty boring, and you're like, oh fuck. And then you try to ask some crazy questions, and then you were told not to mention that. That's one of their things they like to do. And no one ever told us what to do ever. But that was a way of stopping the interview. Like, you were told. So
all you got to do is just pour them some high proof bourbon beforehand. That's the key.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
That's what it has to be.
Yeah, right on.
And that's definitely working. When did you interview Trump? Was how many years ago was that? Was that
I mean, we were I guess I just missed just missed before he announced he was going to run for the presidency. So
right.
I guess it's been a good 5 years at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, and then his son would come on a lot, and he was actually a really, really nice guy. The version of him I see on TV, I don't really know that. I don't know that guy. The one that used to come on our show is a lot of fun and down to earth, and I don't know.
Right on. That's cool. You've had so many great guests, and also so many cool episodes. Now the Opie podcast is up everywhere you can get podcasts. Right? Just look for
Actually,
Opie
if you if you do podcasts, you just put Opie Radio in the search engine, and I'll pop up. I'm over 300 episodes already.
Wow, that's a good number, and they continue around 3 times a week. And I've been listening this week myself. A lot of fun to listen to, man. I really enjoy.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I just have fun doing it. You know.
There's a lot to talk about right now. Once the election and the pandemic is over, what's going to happen? I'm trying to imagine media and what we're going to be hearing, whether it's on podcast, TV, and radio. After all this, what's going to be next?
Well, if you go back to the Spanish flu, which was what, 1917, right. 1918, and right. People get that wrong all the time. It's either 1917 or 1918. And then they had to deal with that for a year or two. And what came next there, Tom? Little trivia for you.
Yes.
The Roaring 20s.
Yeah. We hope Prohibition's not next now.
Right. So I think after the coronavirus is done, we're going to go into a stage of pretty much like the Roaring 20s where things are going to get out of fucking control.
Yeah. Let's hope so.
Yeah. Are you staying safe, or are you one of these guys you don't believe in the mask and you're traveling and doing all that?
I'm staying. I wear a mask. I'm being very safe. I've most of all of the events we were going to be doing, restaurant shows, whiskey festivals, most all those have been canceled. I'm actually hosting whiskey tastings online.
Nice.
So walking through tastings, people can actually come to one of our tastings and do kind of what we do. In fact, because you asked, I'm going to put the link up there. If people are interested in coming to one of our at-home whiskey tastings, there's the link. So we're being really safe, and we're enjoying trying a lot of new whiskeys from the comfort of our own homes. And hopefully once things are better, we'll be out there and going across the country, pouring great people some whiskey. I hope we can pour you some whiskey. I mean, we're virtually pouring you some. You're pouring your own, but we're talking about it. But
yeah,
we'll get to New York and we'll have some fun, and maybe we'll all wear a bow tie and drink. That's not necessary, but we might all, just to celebrate the new Roaring 20s, we'll all wear a bow tie and we'll drink some whiskey together.
I would do that for you, Tom. No problem. Do you go to the Kentucky Derby?
I do. I go every year. Of course, this year it was only like a few media outlets allowed in, like the big ones like NBC. But I am always very honored to be covering it, to be covering a lot of the celebrity red carpet events. In fact, BoubonBlog, our media outlet, was one of the first independent media outlets to ever be let into several of the red carpet events that they had. So we've been at it for a while. We love the Derby. It's a very special time. We really missed it this year, but we did some online celebration. Have you been to the Derby?
I've been invited, and I just simply didn't go. I kicked myself. I would have loved to have gone to that.
Yeah.
No story there, Tom. I'm sorry. I mean, I can show you the crotch again if you need a little pick me up on the podcast. Just say the word, and I'll stand right the fuck back up for you, Tom.
Someone's actually just asked follow up on favorite questions of favorite guests. Someone just asked who is Opie's worst guest? Did you have Matty's pointing.
God, I'm trying to. Oh my God. I forgot. There are fans out there that know more about the Opie and Anthony show than I do at this point. But there was a guy that came on and made balloon animals. I think he was on some kind of reality show, and he came on and he just wanted to make balloon animals. And I'm looking at him like, this is fucking radio. It was terrible. And then we had a guy that made something with toothpicks, and I was trying to get him to hand it to me. I think he was going on Letterman that night, and I was hoping if he handed me the toothpick art I could smash in front of his face because I was so mad how boring it was. And you know, if something is going wrong, it's your job to try to make something of it. So,
right.
you know, instead of people that were listening thinking like, wow, that toothpick guy sucked, I want to give them the memory of toothpick guy sucked. I'm smashing it in front of the guy. But he was on to me and he ran out of the studio. So then I quickly I picked up the mustard and I started spraying it out the window, and I was able to kind of get some mustard on the guy as he was fleeing the building. But unfortunately, there was an Asian gentleman, and it's a true story, came in and he couldn't figure out why he had mustard all over his suit jacket. And he was not happy with us whatsoever because he was convinced that it had to be us. Of course, no one told him the truth. We just made believe we didn't know what the hell was going on.
Wow. Yeah.
And Paris Hilton sucked too.
It wasn't very good.
No.
Now I know a lot of the talk shows, and I'm kind of forgetting with some of your older stuff, would do the would sometimes have the dial in, like people, you would do like a prank or something like that. Would you guys ever do anything like that for entertainment?
What do you mean pranks?
Like the radio show host or some comedian there would actually do a prank on someone. Did you guys ever do any of that?
Oh, we've been known to prank people over the years. Sure. Yeah.
Those were always fun to listen to as well.
Like the prank calls.
Yeah, prank calls. Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got pretty good at the prank calls there, Tom. Yeah. We put out a CD a million years ago called Demented World, and there was a lot of prank calls on that damn thing.
Yeah. That's what I was remembering. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Good stuff. How's that bourbon feeling?
It's I'm getting ready to. I'm gonna start licking my finger soon.
It may happen.
It's gonna happen.
You're already close to the mic.
Right.
NC-17 rating coming up. Oh my!
It's really, honestly, it's really good. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I don't dip into the bourbons. Honestly, these 3 bottles were, you know, they weren't opened until tonight, and I'll be sipping on these 3 bottles in the coming months.
Excellent.
Every time I would sit down with Carl and he would, you know, get me a glass, I always enjoyed it, but I never went all in and started buying them.
Right.
I guess because I don't want to be that fucked up, Tom.
Well, that can be just having several open, tasting those side by side. I think I have a few in front of me now, so I think that's really important, is to taste whiskey side by side like you would do wine, and really see which one speaks to you. At least having 2 or 3 does allow you to have a baseline of what you like the best. I'm really glad you like those. Those are all really
honestly, the one you suggested, I really like.
Good.
I mean, you must have a crazy tolerance if you're trying a lot of this stuff.
Well, I like doing it. We like to do it in moderation, but yes, I'm able to, you know, definitely have some good high proof bourbons and enjoy them, and I do like it a lot.
Good for you.
Man. I don't typically lick my fingers, but sometimes if it's barbecue, you know, you never know. If barbecue whiskey,
other people's fingers.
All right.
That's the thing. Other people's fingers get licked.
Yeah. All right. Here's a question for you. So, what's your tell when you're drunk? What happens?
That's a good question. You know, doing these interviews, and a lot of times it's obviously not just sitting down having a whiskey and a cigar. We'll actually be at events, and we'll be, you know, at some really fun cocktail festivals. And I have looked back through footage where, you know, I may have had no idea that that the whiskey had maybe influenced my speech a tiny bit. So usually we would sift through that, edit it out. But that's a good question. It probably just would go to the speech. I don't know if I have a real tell. Do I have a tell? My wife's sitting not too far away. She's just laughing. But this is talking a lot, but you already do. Talking. She says talking a lot, but I already do.
So it's not like you don't start screaming like the N word or the F word or the Q word or the R word. It's not that bad.
Oh, slow blinking. She says if I blink slow on kill.
Oh, really?
That might be it. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Slow blinking. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah. That could be as bad as licking the fingers, Tom. Slow.
Both at the same time, right?
Slow blinking. Wow. Okay. All right.
Now I'm just picturing both.
Now I got to watch how much I'm blinking.
Yeah.
That's why the sunglasses were on, wasn't it? That's why I started with the sunglasses.
Yeah, right. And now it makes sense. And I got to put on mittens.
That's right.
I said mittens because you know, if you have gloves, you can still get a finger in the old nostril there, Tom.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
So without a doubt.
Did you ever, hey Matty? Did you ever have a tell back when you had when you imbibed?
Yeah, unfortunately, it was usually I could light my urine on fire, so it was
Wow.
You know,
Oh my God.
yeah, it was.
Is that a thing?
That's a real tell. That'd probably be worse than ours.
That's the tell in itself. When you try to light your own urine on fire, you know that you've probably had to. Hold on, I think it's flammable now.
Oh my
The adult
God.
version of fire starter.
Yeah, that was a tell all on its own. World is better. We're better off that I don't drink anymore.
Man, it's so great having you on, Opie. And again, is there the website we would point people to for you? I know it's Opie Radio is we're looking for. It's opieradio.com, right?
Yeah, I got an opieradio.com, and that that'll send you to all sorts of places. I do Facebook Live almost every morning now too.
Nice. That'll point you all the places.
So I put 3 episodes out a week, and I Facebook Live every morning.
Wow. What time in the morning do you do that?
Want to shoot up
what time in
the for everybody up there?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Oh, look at that! Wow, this is fancy, man.
Thanks.
What were you saying?
The Facebook Live is at what time?
Oh, I'm sorry. Somewhere between like 7:30 and 8.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun. I just turn it on, have a cup of coffee, shoot the shit. I got a really good group of people, and we just have a good time.
Cool.
And I usually show the ocean view. I want to do it earlier when the sun comes up, but I got a lot of people that like sleeping in. And I started also Facebook Living from an abandoned house that's down the road from here. So I go under the house. It's really I don't know. There's something about it I like.
So you do it from an abandoned house?
Part, I would assume.
Every once in a while, because I'm paranoid, but I know no one lives at this house. But I was going to do this from there, but I figured you deserved a little more than that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So there's a lot of spider webs. There's a lot of spider webs down there, and there's a lot of footprints down there. Not footprints, animal tracks, whatever. I recognized cats and raccoons.
Oh, cool.
So they're living under the house too.
Quite the hunter trapper you are. Oh,
huh?
Oh, quite the hunter trapper. Look at this.
Right.
At least 13 pounds.
Yeah, but I like it. I like just. I don't know. I'm kind of different, Tom. I'm sorry.
No, I think it's good to find new backdrops and new atmospheres. I think it always changes the experience. I mean, wherever you are, I think can really change both the experience of the audience and also of the show itself.
Sure. I was doing one. There's another area where the sun goes down perfectly over the water. I did a couple Facebook Lives from there recently, and this couple, they were trying to get some of that finger banging in, and I was there doing my Facebook Live, and I was being loud and obnoxious like I am right now. And they were really mad at me because the girl had her leg all the way out the car window. And then they rolled up the window aggressively, and they were all mad because I was interrupting their their finger banging time. You get some of that finger banging in, Tom?
Not usually during the lives, but it's
Am I putting that in the notes? I'm not sure.
Wow.
No. Trying to learn.
Tell this guy's done. You can tell he's done radio there, Matty. He's quick. He's quick.
Yeah, I put it in the notes. Finger banging question mark.
Yeah, but that is another true story. I haven't told one fib here, Tom.
I believe it.
I figured I would give you the good stuff, and that is the
good stuff.
That really happened. This couple, it was a romantic moment. The sun's going down, and they wanted to get some action in. And I'm pretty much 20 feet away with my window down, yelling and screaming, doing my Facebook Live. So,
and I think that's the beauty of the ability going live from anywhere. I mean, that's and really just capturing what's in that moment, the atmosphere, and sometimes you may capture things that you don't always know you're going to.
I think it would be stupid to just go back into a radio station for me. I mean, if it works for others, great. There's people out there that podcast from the same, maybe you do, I don't know. And if you do, that's fine. It might work for you. But for me, I know that with this technology, why not just, turn it on wherever the hell you are and go and have fun.
Right.
Sometimes the quality of the audio isn't the best, but you get good stuff out of it. We used to do a lot of podcast episodes from a bar in New York City. I love that. It was called, well, they're still around and they need the help. They just reopened, but Gephardt's on the Upper West Side on 72nd Street. Great people. And we did 1 million episodes from there.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's like, do that or go back into a radio station. I mean, that decision is pretty easy, right?
You can be anywhere. You can be doing anything. No, I completely agree. I think it's the moment Facebook Live, Twitter Live, all this happened, it was such a game changer because it's instantaneous. It's from anywhere. It's made it a powerful way to entertain, to communicate, and to really tell stories and to share. And
absolutely,
it's been powerful. Opie, radio personality, podcast personality, and legend, Opie. It's so great to have you here on the show, and thanks. We've had so many great people that I know are fans that are joining us, and we definitely would love to have you back. And we'll keep trying through some bourbons and whiskeys, and I can't wait to hear which ones you like the best. I'm glad you like the barrel bourbon. I think that's really good stuff. And
once again, that's what I was drinking. I get no money for this. It was just a gift. Yeah. And I like it.
That's really good one. That's good. And I've been enjoying the Kings County, and the cocktail Annabelle made me was really good too. What was it called again?
It's a black walnut.
She made me a black walnut old fashioned. Is what she made.
Wow, what's in that?
What's in it? Uncle Nearest bourbon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a walnut Italian liqueur.
Oh, beautiful.
Really, was so. And Angostura bitters. It was so good. Matty, who's coming around next week for our Cigar Saturday?
Next week, everybody, you will see Big Swole, aka Chef David Rose.
David Rose.
Put your little apron on and Chef hat, Tom. I know he's a buddy of yours as well. I've known Dave for solid 10 years. Good dude. Yeah. I got to tell you, a lot of his recipes are off the hook goodness. Might even see a little bit of cooking on the big green egg. Who knows?
He loves that big green egg. He's a very talented guy. He and I traveled around a couple of years ago doing a debate on cigars in a lot of cities. So we had a lot of fun, and it'll be great to see David Rose again and having a smoke and drink with him. And what a fun time it's been with you, Opie. We really appreciate you joining us and sharing some fun memories.
Tom, I really enjoyed it. Thanks to Matty Rock for inviting me. And how are you getting your hair cut? I haven't had a haircut since March.
Get that. How Matty or me?
Yeah, you. Matty's a mess.
Annabelle was cutting my hair for a little while, and then I went back into the to the professionals. But she's really good. She did a really good job.
Right on, man.
I thought my wife was doing an amazing job cutting my hair. She didn't think she was, but she was doing really good.
Yeah. I got to get a haircut. I don't know. That I got to figure out. Got to get a patch for my. I got to get a patch for my sweatpants, and I got to get a haircut.
Oh, that's not very long.
Patch first. I'm just saying.
Oh man, I want to. Oh my God, my wife's right. Oh my God,
he's going to be so mad next week. Next week, you can see a commercial. Wow, chicken balls available in your local Walmart.
Someone has a comment here for you, Matty.
Yeah.
Deanna says, "Please, someone get Matty a haircut."
Yeah,
wow, that was hurtful.
All right.
Opie, Matty, it's such a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and join us every week and bookmark. Well, first of all, go over to opieradio.com. Check out Opie's podcast. They're a lot of fun. And then also make sure you're tuning in every week to our Bourbon Blog Live, Cigar Saturday, and all the other nights. We're doing it the next time. I'll be back on. This link is Monday when I'll have Whistle Pig Rye Whiskey. We'll be tasting the new Boss Hog with him, the very rare Boss Hog.
Wow.
It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Right on, man. All right.
Yeah. Cheers. Pour just a little bit more of that barrel, and we'll
cheers.
We'll toast to you. Yeah. Cheers.
Kick and balls.
And cheers. The Italian. I like that Italian water a lot. There it is. Next time, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to have his own line of pre-torn sweatpants. Be watching for that.
Right on.
Dick and Balls by Opie.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Cheers.
All right. We'll do it.